Hello, my beautiful friends. It's Marta. Welcome back. Today I am testing new dies. I've made a little purchase from In Love Art shop, and this arrived really quickly. I wanted to share with you a couple of the dies which I've picked. The company gave me a discount code, and they also give the discount code for my friends and viewers. So if anyone will be interested, everything will be listed down below. I'm gonna be playing with one of the dice, but I just quickly wanted to share through what I've picked. There are so many different things there that I actually had a little struggle to choose what I wanted, but I've thought that these two dice which you can see here, these are just perfect for using up the scraps and all little bits and elements. So I thought this will be a great, especially now when I'm downsizing. This will be handy to make a bunch of a card using the scraps paper and just get rid of them. And now I'm cutting the first die. It actually, those little pieces inside, you were supposed to separate them, but before I'm gonna do so, I've decided to cut it few times because I really like those skinny little frames which comes out if you don't separate the dice in the beginning. So I thought, oh, I'm gonna create a couple cards like that, and then I will separate the rest. Here you can see these dice, so that will give you the frame, those little skinny shapes, and then those proper cut out. Because I am testing these dice, I also decided to go hard way, and I've picked up the sturdiest cardstock I had in my craft room, and this is this gold paper. It's 400 GSM, my friends. This is almost like a cardboard touch. It's very stiff, and it's still cut beautifully. And just to let you know, I am using the Gemini electric die cutting machine here, but I wanted to let you know that all of the dies they've just cut beautifully, and I had no trouble with any of these. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you two card ideas, but I have quite a few more to come. So if you're going to be interested, please don't forget to subscribe, to just click the notification bell, so you're not going to be missing on the new videos. They will be coming. And here I wanted to do something with those little skinny shapes I have, and I've decided to create like a pattern and just adhere them like they would be floating on a card. And to help me position them the right way, what I've decided to do, I'm actually gonna be using the proper like a die cut frame. And here you can see I'm just trying to see if I have them all, and how they're gonna be look like. But before I'm going to adhere them, I am first temporarily adhering this frame. And this is the great idea if you ever want to create the card panel just using the die cut inlay layers. Take the frame you have and then just use your washi tape or masking tape just to adhere it, and this will serve you as a guide. So you're gonna have this equal spacing and everything will be just nice and neat. So here you can see I adhere this frame, and now I am adding the liquid glue. This is just a regular PVA glue. I'm adding it to each of those little frames, and because they were cut from the 400 GSM card, they are really nice stiff. They just hold the shape really nicely. And then I am just adhering them one by one, adding the glue to the side. You could also use the double-sided adhesive sheets. If you have, you would then just place the adhesive sheet underneath the piece of the card and then cut it, and then you would have this adhesive on the back side. But with the liquid glue, it doesn't really take a lot of the time, and it's way cheaper, and I think it's just taking it a longer way. Plus, I'm finding that whenever I have to adhere those skinny frames, it's easier for me to use the liquid adhesive, because that will just give me a little room to wiggle just to make sure I have perfectly positioned them. Next step, I actually decide to fill those white spaces with some design paper. And for that, I am taking one of my own papers. This is the paper I've designed, and I printed it on a copy paper. It's a little bit thicker. It's not 80 GSM. It's almost, I think it's like 100 GSM instead of 80, but it's still very thin. And what it does is whenever I will glue those pieces of the thinner paper inside those frame, the frame will automatically pop and it will be way more dimensional. And then if you look closely on the card, once it's finished, it will be just, you know, nice dimension and difference in between the frame and this die cut inlay. And again, I am taking the liquid glue, just adding a little bit of the glue. And if you're working with the thin paper, make sure you take your finger and just smear the glue on the whole surface, so you're not gonna end up having any like a glue blobs, because if you work with the thin paper, the glue may warp up your paper if it's too much moisture, and then you will have this like visible bumps underneath of the paper. But if you use a finger, make sure you put this nice thin coat of the glue equally, and that will be no trouble at all. And here you can see it just literally took me like 15 minutes to complete this card. It was very fast and easy, and I really like the design. It's a little bit like a modern touch. I don't really do as many like deco art cards or those like a shape ones, so this was really fun and nice thing for me to try. Now, because I actually didn't space it really well, like it was shifted a little bit to one side, I've decided to slightly trim it on the sides, and that just make sure it's looking nicely. And here you can see what I was telling you about, that the golden frames are much thicker than the this little pieces inside, so it all looks nice dimensional, and you have this nice texture to your card. I also took one of these word die which says thankful, and I just cut under with this white shadow piece underneath, and then I glued these two together. And then I had this idea to color this piece with a little bit ink, just to make it matching to the paper, but in overall I think that for the next card I would just keep it white for the next time if I would do this card back again. But it looks nice both ways. I think it's just something extra you can do, or you can skip this step, whatever you prefer. And here I'm using those brushes, and I had a little bit of the brown on the first brush. I think I've just mixed up the color, and that's why I wasn't super happy, because this, instead of it being like a light purpley color, it was just like a brown powdery rouge color, like so that's why I think I would just keep it white if I would redo it back again. But it looks really nice. I really like this design, and I finish off by adding the sentiment by erasing it slightly with the double-sided foam tape, and then I am just going to add a little piece of the string. I'm actually having this scissor deficiency. My son had a school task, they were cutting, and then he borrowed couple pair of my scissors, and he was just trying to cut out some shapes, and then I started recording the video and I realized I don't have any scissors on me, so here I have those little like nail scissors which I found, but I'm needing to sort it out. So once I finish recording, I'll be just going back to his room and then pick up all the craft supplies he borrowed, because he's quite often taking the stuff and forgot to take them back. Here, as always, I like to finish my cards with a piece of the string, which I think it's adding this nice touch, and then I am moving forward to next card. I also decide to play with this the same die, because I think it's having so much potential, and you can do so many things, like use different color of the paper, different design pieces, but I wanted to use what I already have. I cut it from the white cardstock. So I had these little shapes, and I've decided to try the embossing folder, which has this beautiful damask design. And just to make it a little bit more matching, as you could see, I arranged the pieces with the same order as they would go on a card. It's not something you have to do, but I think it's just looking nice and smart when you look on a card and you have those little inlay pieces, and they kind of match the design. You can see that there's a continuation of the design. So this is what I've decided to do. Now, adding this first white frame, which was the base, and that's gonna be serving me as a guide. But this time, I've decided to keep it on a card, so that's why I'm adding some glue and then just adhering it. And then once it's all nice, in place, I'm gonna be use up those little frames which are leftovers from another card. And this is my kind of the idea to go. Whenever like friends asking me how do I find the idea to do cards, I usually start my card using leftovers from the previous card, and then I just cut something like a bunch of leaves, flowers, or some frame extra. And then once I finish card, I already have a little something to start next card. So this keeps on going, and it's usually help me out. If I don't have the idea for a card, I'm just thinking like, what was the last thing I have? Do I have any leftovers or something I could utilize for next card? And this is where the idea for the next card is coming from. So here you can see I add those little frames, and this card is a little bit longer, so I've decided to chop it so I have this nice white edge all around, and it's equal from all sides. And then it's time to adhere those little pieces. Each of those pieces, because they are embossed, I've decided to give them even more dimension, and I'm just backing them up with the pieces of the double-sided foam tape. And you can see here it's just fit nicely because you already have the guide, so you just adhere it whenever it should go. And with the foam tape you get that extra dimensional look, which I really like. And honestly, I like this card so much that I was thinking like, oh, I don't really want to cover it, but I've decided to dress it up with the sleeve die. And to make it appear more sturdy, I kind of like to turn my dies into chipboard elements. So for that, I usually cut 3 or 4 layer from the white or craft color cardstock, as you can see here, and then I am adhering one on top of another. And I've thought like the second before I actually adhere this top layer, I've decided to give it more texture, to give it like a more dimension, so it's not gonna be as flat die cut piece. And for that, what I usually do, I like to grab my inks, some finger dabbers, stamps, whatever I have on a hand, and then just create some interest to the piece. You can also achieve this look by having those like design papers and cut your elements from the design paper, so you have some interesting interesting pattern on the die cut. But if it's like a plain green or blue or whatever color it is, I usually like to go with the inks and then just distress it a little bit, because I think it's just looking nicer. And here you can see how sturdy this little leaf die cut piece become once it was just glue couple of times with backing layer with this craft color cardstock. I also use one of the sentiments. These are the printable sentiments which I also designed, and so I have a bunch of these. And then to match up the whole card, I've decided to put a couple of the Nouveau drops, and I think this is just completing card beautifully, and it's just make it super pretty. So these are 2 cards which I'm going to be sharing with you in today's video, but I will have a couple more to come as well. Let me know which card did you prefer, like which one you like more, and what would be your go-to color combination. As always, thank you so very much for all your likes, comments, shares. This is a huge help for me as a creator. All the links for today's products are down below in the description area. And thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Stay blessed, my friends, and bye bye.